June the 28th, 2025. As you're looking at information that came out last night, and it's coming out of Washington, it says, moments before midnight, Senate Republican leaders released the text of their 940-page bill on Friday with the goal of beginning votes on it today, Saturday. That's why I've got the live stream scheduled for 1 p.m. today, Central Time, 2 p.m. on the East Coast, guys. So you can watch it live. We'll check it out, see what happens. It says GOP lawmakers are racing to pass the sweeping package for President Donald Trump's agenda by a self-imposed deadline of July the 4th. But it continues to face hurdles along the way, and it's unclear if Senate Republicans have enough votes to begin debate on it. The legislation would extend the tax cuts Trump signed into law in 2017 and slash taxes on tips and overtime pay. I'm all for that. It includes a $150 billion boost to military spending this year, along with a surge of federal money to carry out Trump's mass deportation and immigration enforcement agenda. It partially pays for that with cuts to Medicaid, SNAP, and clean energy funding, although the legislation is likely to add to the national debt. That's what they're saying. But the thing a lot about the SNAP and Medicaid, guys, is illegal recipients. Now, when the Democrats talk about this, and this is Schumer's main talking point, is that people are going to lose insurance and people are going to die. They're not going to give free food out to illegal immigrants and free health care. We have to pay for that with our taxes, and most of us just get by, right? It says it partially pays for those cuts with the Medicaid, SNAP, clean energy funding, although the legislation is likely to add to the national debt. And they're talking about $5 trillion. And Mr. Paul Ryan he's against that. He says if you take that $5 trillion debt ceiling out, then he will vote for it. Now, what that would do, what he wants is a debt limit, a reduction, not an increase of $5 trillion. Now, my problem with this has been the AI 10-year bill, and that is, if you remember the videos, AI will have no one over them. There's nobody to police them, and you can't, not even down to the city and county level, you cannot go against anything that AI wants to do, both with, and it's going to go right into the Bitcoin too, but what we're dealing with is people are going to lose power all over the nations when all this cranks up, just not enough power to go around. They can't get enough nukes online in time, and they're running out of shale oil, and that's fracking. So that's kind of your last resort. We do have better relationships in the Middle East, and the price of oil is going down. They're saying it's going to be about a 4-year low for summer spending or summer driving as far as gas prices on a national average. And like I said, it contains this $5 trillion increase in the debt ceiling ahead of an August deadline to avert a default on the country's obligations. With a 53-47 majority in the chamber, Republicans can't afford just 3 defections on the vote. With no hope of winning Democratic support, Republicans are seeking to pass the bill through the budget reconciliation process, which allows them to bypass the Senate's 60-vote threshold. Senate Majority Leader John Thune, RSD, is aiming to hold a first test vote on the mammoth package today, but is running into problems from rank-and-file Republicans who are trying to pump the brakes on the process. It needs to be pumped, and it needs to be stopped. It needs to be thrown in the trash, get back to basics, put it on like a line item veto, and no junk pile in on top of this for special interests and lobbyists and our senators and congressmen that have sold out to the lobbyists. Get that out of there, Trump. Don't allow it to go through, and please read the whole thing. And what they're doing, guys, one of the proposals is to force a complete reading by the Senate. That's what I hope happens. I'm in no hurry for a 4th of July deadline to please anybody. Of course, what I think doesn't matter much, but they need to tear this thing apart, drop it in the trash, and whoever wrote it needs to be kicked out. It's terrible. You got a few good things like the cuts, but what adds to it is way worse. The most dangerous thing is, again, the AI and the Bitcoin mining thing. Bitcoin, guys, is going to end up being the mark of the beast. And the reason I say that, one of the marks, or one of the symbols, let's say, maybe not the mark, but one of the symbols of the beast, because more and more people are going to turn to it. The U.S. is turning to it, saying they don't want to get behind what China's doing and other nations with it. But it's still fake money. And if you have power outages and grid downs, what are you going to do with that Bitcoin wallet you got, right? And it's going to cause so much problems along with AI again into the power generation in every nation on the planet that it won't be profitable. It will be destructive. And so they really need to look at this closely. I don't know who put that in there. They don't really say who the author of every section of the bill is, but it's very concerning to me. That, and let me continue about the Bitcoin thing. If it collapses, how many people will be broke? How many nations that are relying on it will be broke or lose a lot, right? And a lot of people, that will be the stumbling block of your iniquity, because you put all your money into fake gold. And you're really going to be regretting taking that token, that symbol of the beast system, complete control of every spending thing and everything else. You think it's good, you're not thinking very clearly. Now, early this morning on Fox, Ron Johnson from Wisconsin, Republican, he said that he would vote against the initial motion to start debate on the bill until he has more time to review it. He said, we just got the bill. I got my first copy at 1:23 a.m. this morning, guys, after midnight. About 300 provisions by my count. Now, some of the dirtiest deeds are done at night, in darkness, under the guise of rush to 4th of July. Deadline. Stupid. About 300 provisions by my count, Johnson said. We shouldn't take the Nancy Pelosi approach and pass the bill to find out what's in it. We need to know exactly what is in it. So they've got a new bill starting, guys, less than, what we got, 22 hours or so ago? And after midnight, and you know everyone did not get up at midnight and start reading a 920-page bill. But Rand Paul of Kentucky told NBC News on Friday he will oppose the bill, but that he would reconsider if Republicans strip out that debt ceiling hike. This is highly unlikely to happen. Paul, the only GOP senator who has voted against the measure throughout all the steps of the process this year, said it is much more of a spending bill than a bill that rectifies the debt problem. I agree with that. Now, I'd like to know in this 10-year AI domination bill how much of our tax dollars are going in to subsidize that also. Wouldn't you guys? Now, there's good things in it, but you can't let those things, you can't let those just pass the bill because they're in it. No way. It says the GOP package prohibits Medicaid funding for entities that provide abortions, including Planned Parenthood. Good. Seeking to make good on long-standing conservative priorities. Again, that's good. That is, quit giving away our tax dollars. How about that? But that pursuit has faced opposition from Senator Susan Collins, another Republican from Maine, and Lisa Murkowski, a Republican from Alaska. Those are two rhinos. We know that. Why they're still being voted in has to do with cheated elections in their states. There's no way people vote for that much stupid. Now, Thune said last night that he's not certain the Republicans have the votes to advance the measure, but that it's time to act. It's a process, and hopefully the votes will be there. But we won't know for sure until we actually have the vote. Even if the package can pass its first hurdle Saturday, it would still have a long way to go. There would be at least 10 hours of debate before senators can start voting on amendments, and Democrats are threatening to force the reading of the entire bill. The House, which passed its own version in May, would need to pass the Senate bill before it heads to Trump's desk. Now, one thing about this is, again, they're going to try to rush it through, right? Now, one thing that I think we may notice a difference today in the Senate is you won't have all that time delay, people dragging their feet in and out, going here, going there, whatever they're taking breaks for, because Trump's making them stay there until this is done. So instead of flying home yesterday, really they work Tuesday through Thursday. You know, that's a pretty good job, isn't it? Unless something like this happens. You don't start seeing much. They're coming back into town Monday and Sunday, leaving Thursday night and Friday. And they got, you know, and I guess with that kind of money, you can do it. But it says, again, I don't think they're going to be dragging their feet. They want to get out of there, so it may be a quick meeting. It says GOP leaders are making a daring bet that reluctant members won't vote to scuttle Trump's big, beautiful bill when push comes to shove, and they've said they may need to enlist the president to twist arms and sway holdouts. To heck with that, guys. They need to tear this bill apart, rewrite it with none of the pork and none of the BS in it. Now, it's going to take a minute to load this video, guys, but it is 11:58. So at 1 p.m. Central Time, 2 p.m. East Coast again, our live stream will be up. It actually comes up at 12:45 and Central Time, and it will be 15 minutes. But remember this, I'm going by the schedule that was on the Senate page, and that could vary somewhat, so be patient. We're watching it, guys. You watch it. It's a heads up. Be safe.